Hey guys, what's up? It's me, Pagey, here once again with another video, and this is going to be, I guess, a somewhat of a different video because we've got a guest. So yeah, we're going to be talking about what you can see in the title. So yeah, I don't know what's in the title. It's something. It's something about DC Studios. So let's go. Yep. So we're here with DJ Airrick. Airrick's Reloaded. So you've heard of the Grimace Shake? He tried the Papa Smurf Shake. So if you're wondering, it's sort of spelled down. Don't trust the dye that they put in those shakes because they're going to affect you. Luckily for Airrick, it went on his beard and not inside of his guts because it would have been a bit disgusting. So yeah, avoid that type of stuff. But anyway, we're going to be going over 3 projects that we think are going to be happening in the next sort of area of the DC Studios thing. Because of course, and Airrick, you would have noticed this, we didn't have Comic-Con this year. Or we had Comic-Con, but we didn't have Comic-Con as people would expect it.
Yeah.
There was no Hall H like big Marvel or DC or any of those type of things.
What are you talking about? Those animated movies announced, like that's
yeah, okay. Watchmen. Let's see how they go about that in like a 90-minute runtime. I'm sure that'll be great. But yeah, so a lot of people were expecting, the next, at least the back half of James Gunn's first phase or chapter, because he said that he only released about half back in, was it February or late January, whenever it was. And also maybe even some hints at chapter 2, though that would have been a big stretch because that's probably still like 4 years away, that even happening. So in this video, we're going to give 3 projects that we think that James Gunn has planned coming up, that we think logically he could be planning, and also 3 projects that we want to see, like a wish list sort of thing. So I think I'll start. I won't chuck you under the bus. I won't let you feel the pressure. So I've got a very logical one at first, just because he's already cast 2 of the actors that will probably be in, or 2 of the characters / actors that would be in this thing. And he's also teased this group in a couple of different ways online. And that's a Terrifics project. I don't know if it'd be a movie. And the main reason I don't think it'd be a movie is because I don't know if it would sell. Because to be honest, he's cast Anthony Carrigan as Metamorpho and Eddie Gathegi, hopefully I pronounced that name correctly, as Mr. Terrific, who are like character actors, but they're not lead actors. So I don't know if that'd be the best thing for a movie, unless they kill it in Superman Legacy. And it's like, well, we got to do a movie with these characters. So I think maybe a TV show would be the way they go about it. And all you got to do now is cast Plastic Man, which has already been teased. I don't know if you have a fan cast for that. I have no idea. And then, I don't know, Phantom Girl's the one that's in the comic book Terrifics. I don't know. Do you go Phantom Girl? I guess because like the thing is, the Terrifics is just pretty much the Fantastic Four, but DC. Like it's a play on the Fantastic Four. So I guess you do Phantom Girl to be the like Invisible Woman sort of thing. But I know maybe you do another character, but I guess if it's just going to be a TV series, you have to cast a big actor for this character. You could just go Phantom Girl. So would you want a Terrifics project? Do you think that's a logical one?
I think it would be really cool. Actually, two of my choices of things that they could be announcing are based on the casting from Superman Legacy, because it seems like James Gunn has talked about it. That is that movie is going to like basically define the direction of some of the DC projects. So I do believe that's probably a good guess. And I think you're right, because some people were kind of side-eyeing those choices of characters, but in interviews he said that it's important to the story for those characters to be there. Yeah. So I do think that's a good guess on what could be announced.
And like everyone was like, why are they not casting this big actor as Mr. Terrific or this big actor as Metamorpho? I think James Gunn is going for character actors who are meant to be playing those characters, just as to fill those characters and not be Brad Pitt playing this character.
Well, I mean, look at what Marvel does. A lot of Marvel properties, if they're following that guideline or whatever, cast like mid-range actors that
maybe people
like
breaking out of TV or something like that. Yeah,
that they want to like turn them into superstars, and I think that's what we're going to see with a lot of these castings.
Yeah, so I think the Terrifics is a logical one. The next one I don't think is that logical. I just feel like James Gunn is trying to reach different areas of the DC universe. We're getting like the Lantern show, so there's space, Superman, Batman, grounded in superhero, and different things like that. Even technically, you argue like Booster Gold, like timeline wise, coming from the future and stuff. And then Paradise Lost is in the past. So he's touching different areas. So there's no hint, I think, from him given in regards to this character possibly being there. It just seems like it might fit in with him trying to reach around different areas of the globe. And that's Vixen.
Okay.
I think Vixen is something, because there's been a cry that should have been in the DCEU and they missed some things there. So I could easily see them doing that. It's also a bit of a different power set that could be pretty cool. I guess it depends, like, how they attack it. Like, do they set it in Africa or do they set it in America and then just ties to ancestral stuff? Like, that's what.
Well, I
will be
mean,
a
the
big
thing is,
question.
I maybe I took the quote wrong, but I think he said that they're not really doing origin stories in the DCU. It's going to be more or less you kind of pick up with them after they already are somewhat established. And so I believe Vixen, if we wanted to have a Vixen movie, I think something like in a modern setting with maybe some flashbacks to like the past Vixens or the people that carried the totems, something along that lines, could tie into like more of the roots and core of that character. So I'd be okay with that. And
Yeah.
honestly, Vixen is a character there's been plenty of missed opportunities with Vixen, especially even in the Arrowverse, I think, to some degree.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, I think there's something that you can build upon at the very least, especially if they want to use her in any sort of like group thing potentially as well. Once again, I don't know if you do a movie with this character, it's a TV show. It's sort of hard to tell. Like, maybe it depends on who you cast. If they cast a really big name actor, they can make it a movie. But if they go for someone that fits the role perfectly, then maybe a TV show. And the last, I do have an honorable mention, and I just put Wonder Woman just because I feel like that's going to be the case. But I feel like that was a boring thing to say.
But
I
it's
just feel
also,
like
I think it's right though. I think you're correct.
Yeah.
I think Wonder Woman's almost a shoe in for like an announcement. So
it just felt like a boring choice. Like, just so I just skipped it. I put it as an honorable mention. And my last one, this is sort of in a mixture between Wishlist but also logic, because James Gunn has sort of mentioned the character, and that's Green Arrow. And I did put it in brackets and Black Canary. Because I don't know if you just do Green. Well, because like you said, he doesn't necessarily want to do Origins. I think he still will with some things. I just think with like established characters, we don't need to see the Wayne shot in an alley again, or Clark growing up and finding his powers again as a chronological thing. So if that's the case with Green Arrow, maybe go, well, hold on, Arrow was a popular show. Do I need to show that origin? Like the first 5 years with that origin. So do I need to do that?
Yeah, I don't think they would. I actually think, and I don't think we're getting Black Canary from Birds of Prey. I think we'll get a brand new Black Canary as well.
Yeah, probably.
Even though I think she was probably one of the best characters in that movie. I do understand that they're probably just going to recast at this point. Yeah, I think Green Arrow is a good choice because I think they're doing this balance of like, interstellar type characters or like godlike characters, and also we're getting a lot of these like street level characters, and I think Green Arrow and Black Canary would slot perfectly into that. So
yeah, I think it's because the first chapter is called Gods and Monsters, so I think it's trying to go like those god level powers like a Superman, and then like your human characters, like the ones like a Green Arrow, like specifically I guess like a Batman, I guess the ones that have been announced already.
Bold, so
so yeah, but I did put Black Canary just because I thought if they do pick up with Green Arrow X amount of years into his career, then they might do that. And I guess if we're going off the logic that whatever Peacemaker did was canon to an extent, and he mentioned Green Arrow in that show multiple times, though he disses Green Arrow, which I wasn't very happy with at the same time. Okay, now Airrick is going to give us his suggestions. Will these be good? Will they be bad? I gave some absolute crackers, so let's wait and see, Airrick. No pressure. So go ahead, start.
Okay, so I'm going to start out with one that is kind of off the wall, and I know that it's been rumored and picked up and dropped or whatever, but I think a Zatanna type series would be good. And that plays into the monster aspect because who knows what's happening with that Constantine thing with Keanu Reeves, I believe is completely
I think that's
gone at this point. I mean,
it's like one of those, it's like a linger. It's just lingering. Just go away.
So if we're going to go in a direction of magic, I think she's the perfect jumping off point for that because she's a character that everybody loves. She's probably one of the most well-known like witch type characters in terms of like DC magic users.
I completely forgot about the magic angle. I just completely forgot that existed in DC. Now you bring it up. Yeah.
I mean, I think she would be a good choice. And then that could be a gateway into like that world of Constantine, and we could tie in with Swamp Thing, which we know that's coming as well. So I think that would be a really good choice. So I think Zatanna. I don't know. Would you want to see a Zatanna?
I don't. Well, obviously know that it was in the works, and they had that, and had Emerald Fennell. Emerald Fennell, that's her name. Yeah, writing the screenplay for it. I mean, she's Oscar nominated, so like, I don't know if they're going to keep that screenplay.
Yeah,
I guess it's up to James Gunn. He might read it and go, "This is amazing," and we can put it into our DCU. So he might go with it. But even then, like if they really wanted to, they could probably introduce the character in Swamp Thing if they wanted to. But
that's what I was thinking.
But then you had James Mangold saying, "No, it sits on its own. There's no connection." So it's like, what was the point of starting this whole new connected DC universe if one of the first projects is disconnected? But anyway, yeah, they could introduce it there. But I think Zatanna's one that it feels weird that she wasn't in the DCU. But then again, DCU didn't like really go that far into the magical side of things. So maybe it's good that was left out, so then they can explore her fairly early on into this new one. So yeah, I wouldn't mind that.
And my second one ties in. My next two choices actually tie into Superman Legacy and the possibility of what could happen from there. And I think like a Hawk man, Hawk girl, Hawk woman, Hawk world type movie. I don't really know what it would be, but I'm assuming something with the Hawks, because if they're going to go with the resurrection storyline, something along those, that way, they could do a Thanagar type series or movie and kind of dive into that, because Aldis did a great job as Hawkman. I don't know if we're going to see him back,
I think he might be gone
in that role, but we know we're getting a Hawk girl in the Superman Legacy. And so that means the characters will exist within the DCU. So I think it's a good chance that maybe they're going to do something with those characters. It's one of these weird things where I don't think Hawkman or Hawkgirl have held a long run of comics in DC. I think it keeps going away and coming back and going away and coming back. It's like
probably Hawkman. Like Hawkman had a fairly decent run, but even then, like they've always been like limited. Like there's an end in sight. It's never been this ongoing thing.
I think it's in that sweet spot where, like, I'll go back to Iron Man for like the MCU. Iron Man is a character that everybody knew about, and he had a long run with comics, but he was never like the most popular character. But comic fans loved Iron Man, and the MCU took that story and they said, hey, we're going to make him like the beginning of this universe. And they really did a good job with him. And that set up a lot of those characters that sort of didn't have like titles that were popping all the time in Marvel. And I think Hawkman falls into that category where there's a possibility you could really do something with him. And it sucks that Aldis is probably out, because I think he did a great job and I wouldn't mind seeing him come back and play that character. So that would be my second choice.
I could say something like that, yeah.
And my third one is inspired by something you were talking about, which is the Terrifics and the Phantom Girl stuff. And I thought, what about a Legion of Superheroes movie? Something in the future.
And that would like sort of go into the whole, like actually being set in the future.
Yeah.
But trying not to spoil anything.
Yeah. Because I feel like the DCU, as far as we can tell, isn't going to be confined to just one time period. We're going to do a lot of like moving around here and there. And I think a future series could allow them to do Legion. It would tie in characters maybe with the Terrifics, obviously, and then also even Supergirl, because we know we're getting a Supergirl movie, and that may somehow connect to that, because we know Supergirl had ties with Legion of Superheroes. So I think that would work too. So I think it's quite possible that is something. I think that would actually get a lot of people really excited, because we've had some weird announcements like the Authority, stuff like that, where people just didn't really know. I think Legion of Superheroes is one of those like titles that a lot of people love, and the studio just needs to have faith in putting it out. So
and also that could be one of those ones where you might not think initially it's going to be a success, but if it's sort of separated but set in the world, it might get like your general public in, because it might be like, well, don't have to watch 4 movies to understand what's going on here.
I also think it could be a good like almost Guardians of the Galaxy type thing, where it's not taken too seriously, because some of the powers that the Legion has,
goofy, like what Matt Adelad and stuff like that. Like,
they could really, and that seems right up James Gunn's alley, like putting something like that, or just allowing a director to kind of go wild with that, I think would work. So
yeah, I could say that. Yeah. Okay, nice. Well, now we're going to move into our 3 wish lists. So those were the 3 from each of us that we think logically could go in based off, prior things or just what would fit. Now we're going to go off a wish list of what we want to see. So I'll list off my 3. I do have another honorable mention, but it sort of ties into one of the other ones I have as a wish list.
Okay.
And I'll get what your thoughts. So some of these aren't that, oh my God, mind blowing. Can't believe he's saying this. Right. Wow. The first one is JSA. Like I love the JSA. And once again, we've talked about how there's going to be differing time periods. And I wouldn't want the JSA set in modern times. Like I understood what Black Adam was doing, but I didn't really care about JSA in modern times, at least in regards to initially meeting them. I want to see them
more
back.
Like Stargirl's original JSA, where it seemed like
I want to see them back in like World War II. You could even argue they go back to World War I or the Cold War. Sorry for knocking my mic, whatever it is. Something like that. That's where I'd want to see them. And it allows us to get Jay Garrick, potentially. Or you can make it that it's Earth 2. If they want to make it Earth 2 and they want to make it that like these
they can do an Elseworlds trilogy of like JSA. I mean,
yeah, I'd love that. And like you can get the original Mr. Terrific, because they're saying that this Mr. Terrific wasn't potentially could be inspired.
The original Blue Beetle.
The Dan Garrett, or they could go Ted Cord, whichever way they want to go. And you can make it that Wonder Woman still existed back then and she helped with
Alan
this
Scott.
JSA.
You could get Alan Scott in there as well.
You get all these different characters, and you could probably make this like a big ensemble star movie, potentially. I think JSA would be the coolest movie. It, like, in regards to like potential there. In regards to who they would fight, I don't know, you could be really, I don't know if you make it like Hitler's the villain. Like, I don't think we need to do that. But you never know. There's evil people everywhere, you know, regardless of what time period, there's evil sons of bitches everywhere. Right. So I think JSA is the one at the top of my list that I really, really want to see. And I think James Gunn would do it. Yeah. No matters who writes it as well. I think you'd want someone that actually knows about it. And not just make it it's cliche World War II. Like Zack
Snyder's JSA.
You're trying to bait me there. Let's just, you're not going to get me, even though technically my response has gotten me. But anyway, why'd you say that? Anyway, so JSA, you've ruined the moment. You've ruined the moment. The JSA number one for me. And next up, it sounds weird saying it because we just had it come and go, but The Flash. I want to see, I think with this, you rip off the Band-Aid and just go again. Because The Flash, to me, and I think most people would agree, some people would argue he's one spot higher, but he's the fourth biggest hero in DC Comics. You have your Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman in third. They make up the Trinity, and your reserve for the Trinity is The Flash. People can argue against the brick wall if they want to against that, but that's a fact. Some would argue he's number 3. I don't think he pips Wonder Woman. I think Wonder Woman's still got more, at least in regards to the general public. And maybe in the comic book community, maybe it's The Flash goes to third. But in regards to the general public and who you're trying to make these movies for, it's Wonder Woman's third. So I think you rip off the Band-Aid with The Flash. Like, don't announce a movie that's going to start filming next year for it. But in regards to like maybe the end of chapter 1 or the beginning of chapter 2, I think you go with another Flash movie because I think they need to start developing the Flash family. I keep seeing people saying, just do Wally West. What? And then skip Wally West's development as Kid Flash and all that. Like, no. And you want Barry Allen to be like the first Flash in that Justice League, and then you can develop from there in whatever way.
That's why the JSA Jay Garrick.
Pride myself.
Jay Garrick. No, he would be great because then you could establish him in the JSA, and then Barry could be the one that you are establishing in modern times, which is what they did in the comics. So, and
that ties into my third choice about establishing the Flash family. You had your Jay Garrick and JSA, or Gay Jarrick and JSA.
Gay Jarrick.
That hashtag Gay Jarrick, that's his new name. Barry Allen in a Flash movie, what it is. And my third option, can you have a guess what it would be?
Wally West Flash
group,
like a Flash family movie
that involves Wally West, Kid Flash, TT.
Oh, Teen Titans.
Okay. Teen Titans. Yes, there we go. Because we know we're getting Damian Wayne in the Batman Brave and the Bold. Obviously, you're not going to get a John Kent. We know this is going to be younger Superman. You could even argue like maybe if they do a Green Arrow movie, you can get Speedy, like a Roy Harper or whatever it is, or even a Mia Dearden, whichever way they want to go. Teen Titans to me are like evolving from those younger characters. It could be the wards of your Batmans and your Flashes and stuff like that. Would be cool. Now, and I guess the question is like, do you do Teen Titans and Titans or just Teen Titans?
I would say Teen Titans because the idea of the Titans being grown up kind of pulls away from the Justice League a little bit. I think you need to start them out as the Teen Titans, to be completely honest.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one. I agree with that. And like you can do, all the people would want to see like Deathstroke as the villain and stuff like that. And I think Teen Titans works and allows you to develop those sidekicks in their own sort of thing. So they aren't just sidekicks. They have their own storylines in this main movie. I guess it just depends on what the makeup of your Teen Titans would be. Like, do they scrap the Titans and move like a Starfire back to Teen Titans and all those characters there? Yeah. Like you could have Wonder Girl. You can have stuff like that. And they could have the new Wonder Girl, the one that was only, maybe if they want to do that instead, they don't do Donna. But yeah, those are my 3. I do have an honorable mention, but it sort of ties into one. And this is just a wish list galore, but that's Flash and Green Lantern, the Brave and the Bold, like the Mark Waid run, something like that. But that seems like a TV show, this sort of thing. You could probably do a movie, but it might be hard, especially because goddamn, I do hate the fact that the Brave and the Bold has been given to the Batman movie. I just don't like that. Just call it Batman something else. Like, don't take Brave and the Bold. Anyway, but it's done. It's dusted. Maybe they might change the name, but I wish it wasn't called Brave and the Bold, that Batman movie. But anyway, that would be like another thing, like Flash and Green Lantern, Brave and the Bold. But I guess I have to call it something else now. Actually, I guess they could call it Flash and Green Lantern, Brave and the Bold, because it's a different name.
Well, because the other one's going to be Batman Brave and the Bold, so they could just literally do like a Brave and the Bold type franchise or something.
Interesting. So maybe that could happen.
Like a mini franchise within a franchise or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah. Spin-off within a spin-off. I don't know, whatever it might be. But anyway, what's your wish list galore for this thing?
Well, 2 of yours that you picked were mine as well. Which was Teen Titans and the Flash. Because I originally thought that a Teen Titans would be interesting because we could get a proper, like, younger version of the Justice League. And obviously, in order to have a kid Flash, you have to have a Flash, which means that those two it's kind of one answer because those two sort of fill that same space for me, to be completely honest. And the other one that I had was if they could work it out somehow, and obviously this is gonna, it would happen to be very late in the game, but I really like the Super Sons run. And I know you talked about like the fact that you know, we're not going to get Jonathan Kent or whatever with Damian situation, and maybe Brave and the Bold will sort of feel like a Super Sons type, you know, series, movie, whatever. But I would like to see that. But the one that I would really like to see, if we're picking like passion projects, and I've said this before, is the Earth 2 series with like Power Girl and Valzad,
like
and like all of those characters. Yeah, like along those lines, because those characters are sort of just not really used anywhere else. I mean, a lot of them, like Red Tornado, like even as a regular character, you don't really see him anywhere. And the Red Tornado, the female Red Tornado on Earth 2 could be a very interesting character to cover. The Green Lanterns are very different on Earth 2. Again, you have Valzad, because now they've scrapped that apparently they've scrapped the Valzad or the Black Superman movie. So using Valzad in a Earth 2 movie would be good. I think it would be absolutely fine. It would give us like a pseudo Justice League movie that could be like a separate thing, like an Elseworlds thing. Obviously it's on a different Earth. But it could be a project that's dropped in within the DCU that I think would be a lot of fun. I would really enjoy that. That would be my number one. And I've said that a few times now, but yeah, an Earth 2 movie or even a trilogy would be really cool.
Yeah. So, I think that as an Elseworlds thing would be really cool. But then again, they could make it Elseworlds with the open for connectivity later on if they,
which is what I was thinking.
Need to.
Because could you imagine, because we could have that real crisis event if we start establishing like an Earth 2 now, like where Crisis on 2 Earths or something like that could work between the characters. That would be really interesting in my opinion.
Or even like a crime syndicate thing or something where they
what I was thinking.
Might need our help or something. Yeah,
exactly. Like we have 2 different sets of superheroes. Like you have the Earth 2 Justice League, you have the Earth 1 Justice League, and then you have the crime syndicate. And then we could have like this battle with them. I think that would be kind of interesting.
So, yeah, okay, I don't mind that. So, well, that's our wants and wishes. That's probably the 2 W's, wants and wishes. Oh no, our logical choices and our wishes. I think, I don't know, something like that. But anyway, I want to thank Airrick for joining me in today's video. You can click on go to his channel. It'll be linked in the description down below. You know, different content. We do a podcast over there every single week. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed it, it would be awesome to drop a like on it. Let me know in the comment section down below. What are your 3 logical choices? Which 3 wishes and wants as well? So similar how do we format in this video? Let me know in the comments. And also your thoughts on our choices. Airrick didn't say anything stupid for once, which is actually sort of surprising. I was actually shocked. So I guess kudos to Airrick for that one. But thanks for watching, guys. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one. Goodbye.